at home. And I am casual today because I have to tell you, on this Thanksgiving Day, I am thankful to my coworkers and to my friends that offered me the opportunity to be home with my family on this Thanksgiving. So I appreciate that. I'm thankful every day for them. I am thankful for you as well. The fact that we have the opportunity to get together, as we've been doing for months now, on Dan's At Home Update. Hope, as I said, the day finds you well. It may be different. It may be one of those holidays that, it is so uniquely different from what you've done in the past, but you may be doing it for your own good. I don't know if you've been reading, and maybe it's better not to. Honestly, sometimes I think I read too much. You see too much. You start saying, I'm not leaving the house. I'm not doing anything. And then you become kind of the cave dweller because you don't want to go out. But on the other hand, you want to be careful. Today is a perfect day if you want to have the family over to be outside. That is the plan here at the Gresham Abode. I call it Shea K. Outside, I have turned the carport into our dining area. So we have set up tables. Our kids will be coming over and the grandkids, but everything will take place outside so that we've got lots of room. And it is our bubble. We made that decision, I think, like a lot of people did when this all started, that, at first we didn't see our grandkids for months. And then it became obvious this was going to go on for a while, and we didn't want to deny ourselves. So the only option was to be very, very careful. And even that doesn't exclude you from getting COVID, no matter how careful you are. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to, the people that I know that have gotten it, that said, I did everything, and I still got it. I read an interesting article today by an infectious disease doctor that said, short of, he said, we can't breathe the same air. That's the problem. We cannot breathe the same air. That is going to create the problem. So again, your best bet, outside, social distancing, if you're going to do it. And again, if you're one of those people that say, I just don't buy into this, then obviously you're going to do what you want to do anyway. My concern is, and I think the concern of the health community, the doctors, is that what happens after Thanksgiving? 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, you have this huge surge. We already are seeing ICUs fill up in the state of Texas. Don't fool yourself. Even here in Jefferson County, and I'll show you those numbers in just a moment. But anyway, all that aside, I could not resist being home. Taking the opportunity to say again, good morning, and thank you for being part of my life and allowing me to come into your homes and onto your computers and into your mobile devices. Let's see who's up this morning, who's checking in with us. Coffee Landry is here. Good morning. Hi, Coffee. Joanne, good morning to you as well. Lisa says hello. Mary Wofford, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Glenda, same thing, offering everybody a Thanksgiving Day. Tammy is with me when she says it's a perfect day to celebrate outside. Agree with you there. Coffee says, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Peggy, blessed Thanksgiving from Old League Road. I'm not sure where that is exactly, Old League Road, but wherever it is, I appreciate it. Marvin, good morning to you. Happy Thanksgiving. Samuel is up with us this morning. Says, happy Thanksgiving from my family to yours. Same from mine to yours as well. Valerie, good morning to you. Hi, Randy Gardner. Glad you're starting your day with us this morning. Carolyn Stewart, good morning to you. Hi, Marie. Always a pleasure to see you up with us as well. Daisy Marie as well. We go from Marie Jackson to Daisy Marie this morning. Hi, Daisy. Also, Danny Bledsoe says Thanksgiving prayers to all. Jesse Coates, or Cates, I should say. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Tom, you're in town this morning. You're in Lumberton. Tom actually lives in Illinois, but comes to see his family. You guys have a safe day. And again, do what you can to protect yourselves. It is very hard to tell your friends and family, when you come to my house, you're going to be wearing a mask. It just seems like you're being very authoritative. And that may put some people off. But again, as long as I've always said this, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? So when you say to somebody, we're doing this because, I'm doing this because I'm concerned about the safety of you, but I'm also concerned about the welfare of my kids or my grandkids or my grandmother or my mother. Then when you couch it that way, when you position it that way, it makes it a little bit easier. It's a little bit easier to swallow. I will tell you this. I went into a business yesterday in Orange County, And when I walked in, I was the only person wearing a mask. And they all kind of looked at me. But you know what? My feeling was not apologetic. I mean, I didn't feel like I have to apologize for being the only one. But at the same time, you feel kind of awkward. They didn't make me feel awkward. It's just that, I felt awkward being the only one. But it is a decision that each individual has to make. Greg Picasso, good morning and happy Thanksgiving to you, my friend. I miss talking to you every day. Old workmate there. Mike Caruth, a very, very old workmate. We have not worked together in years, but happy Thanksgiving to you as well, my brother. And glad to see you doing well. Azinka, good morning to you. Also, Chrissy Davis says, is the weather going to be severe this weekend? I don't know that it's going to be severe, but we have a chance for a lot of rain this weekend, Christy. So if you have things planned for outside, you might want to kind of alter those. Shirley James, good morning to you. Justin Jackson, happy Thanksgiving. Hope you have a great day and a great day and sometimes I think that we forget, what is this day about? It's like if you're thinking pilgrims and Indians, then, in history, even that may not be true. But I mean, the basic premise behind the whole day is what? Being thankful, giving thanks for the things that you have. And as difficult as 2020 has been for all of us, I can assure you, no matter what station in life you are in, you do have things to be thankful for. Sometimes we get so blinded by the things that are going on with us. And I say it all the time. We get so hung up on reading all of these stories, all of these national headlines, that suddenly it's in our head and that becomes us, instead of thinking about where we live and what we have to appreciate and to be thankful for on this Thanksgiving, whether you're religious or not. I mean, there's still lots of things that you can be thankful for sure. Statistically speaking, like I said, no matter what your station is in life, if you look how much better you have it in this country than 90% of all the people on this planet, that alone should give you, the fact that you have running water should be enough to be thankful for. And again, we are blind to it most of the time. Susie, good morning to you. Jimmy Adams, good morning as well. Chase On says masks are so stupid until you need it. Pearl Holmes, Chase On, I'm just saying, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Pearl, happy Thanksgiving to you. Also, Vicky, good morning to you. Happy Thanksgiving. Helen says, hey, happy Thanksgiving. Also this morning, Hank says, happy birthday as well. Thankful to live in America, he says. Well, and I think so many times we take things for granted that we just don't think about it. It's just we're oblivious to what we do have sometimes because we're thinking about things that we want to have instead of the things that we do have, always looking for the next, greener grass, if you will. But anyway, glad to have you with us this morning. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about what's happening in the headlines this morning, because quite honestly, it's Thanksgiving Day. And I just don't. Mark Viator, good morning to you, my friend. I hope you're feeling better. I'm sorry I haven't reached out to you, but I hope that you're feeling better. I do. And if you want to send me, I've heard through the grapevine that you are. So, and I'm glad to hear that. Glenda says, I wear my mask everywhere, don't care. I got you. And again, it's one of those things that if you believe in it and you're going to do it, you just kind of have to not worry about what other people are going to say, because it's pretty obvious those who don't want to wear it aren't worried about it. So, again, I read something the other day. It's kind of crazy how a face mask has become a political statement for some reason, and that you're immediately assumed to be one thing or another simply because you choose to wear a face covering. Helen, good morning from Altoona, PA. Well, I hope things are good. I bet it's a lot colder in Altoona this morning than it is in Beaumont and Southeast Texas. But actually, we woke up pretty cool this morning. It was very, very nice here. All right, let's take a quick look. Like I said, I'm not going to focus, not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but I do want to point you in the direction of KFDM.com. Great place to start if you want to know what's happening in your headlines. Here you go. You can see it all there. You can see the local news. You can see that Port Arthur PD is investigating the fifth homicide. And it is, Yeah, again, under investigation this morning, but you can go and find out more about that. You can also find out about Hardin County and their COVID numbers this morning. Sorry, I thought that was up there, but it wasn't. There you go. You can go and read that this morning and see where their numbers are. And you can see that they've had 3 new COVID-related fatalities as being reported by the county judge there in Hardin County. So let's look at the numbers. For people who say, oh, well, numbers can say anything. Numbers have to say this morning, whoops, wrong one. No, they don't. Some numbers, they're, you look at them and you go, okay, what does that mean? Other numbers, it's kind of hard to argue with the number of people who've been tested. That's, it's being reported accurately, and again, that's always the question that's brought into play. Well, they're not accurate. Maybe they're not, but, when you look at them, I always go to this one because if I'm going to use something that is the bellwether or the cornerstone or something that to me looks like it would be a clear indicator of where things are, it's hospitalizations. And across the state, you look at it, and by the way, when you see this is the Texas Department of Health and Human Services, and their statistics are based on laboratory confirmed COVID patients. That's what these are. Lab confirmed. You can see that back in July, there were 10,000. We saw it go down, 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 steadily down. There we go. All of a sudden, we hit October, November, and look how rapid the rise has been in November to the point that yesterday, we're at 8,353. So we're 2,000 short of where we were at the peak across the state of Texas, right? So let's go back. The thing they always want to point to is what's going on locally in Southeast Texas. And you can see, here's the map of Texas. Ours is R. That's the region that Beaumont is located in, R. So you can either scroll down to R if you want to. You can click on R. Either one of them works, but it will give you the information. There's the information on R. Our population, including in the region R, 1,300,000 plus. We have 1,973 total staffed hospital beds. Currently, there are 274 of those 1973 that are available. We have 23 ICU beds left in the region, 23. And we have lab confirmed COVID-19 patients currently in the hospital, 211. All right, so those are numbers you need to look at because again, as this number continues to shrink, available ICU beds, and this number begins to shrink, available hospital beds, then you have to worry what happens to the healthcare system. What happens to those who have an accident? What happens to those who still have to have cancer treatment? What happens to those who are stroking? What happens to those that have some kind of a heart episode? Where do they go if the hospital is full? Not only that, you have to consider what happens to hospital staffing when you're overwhelmed. There are doctors, I was reading a story this morning, and certainly you can go and read it for yourself, but I was reading a story this morning, Houston Chronicle, one of the doctors there was saying he has not had a day off. He has not taken a day off 257 days. And that much of his staff is the same way. And he was saying they're breaking down in the halls in the middle of the day crying because they're so overwhelmed. It's like as soon as they get one patient into a room, they get a call from the emergency room that there's somebody else that needs a bed. So, you can say, well, it's not a big deal, but the numbers, whether you want to believe the testing numbers, the death numbers, but if you look at the hospitalization numbers, those numbers will be real to all of us if it overwhelms the healthcare system. And then suddenly, people who need emergency services, where do they go? What do they do? And again, the health and well-being of those people who serve you in the health industry as well. I mean, doctors can only work for so long. Nurses can only be on their feet for so long until they're going to have to, start looking at things. And again, the biggest problem is, if you believe the health experts, is proximity. When you're breathing the air of somebody else and you don't know, and the person doesn't know whether they've contracted the virus, you can have the virus and not show symptoms for a number of days. Or you can have the virus and never show symptoms. We all have learned a word this year, asymptomatic. So it's out there. So again, I don't want to be a drag this morning. I don't want to bring everybody down. I just wanted to show you what's going on, to be aware, to make you aware of what's going on across our community. Let's see, a couple more comments this morning, see if I can find some. Always enjoy these. I don't necessarily understand the comments when they're like this, but I'm sure people would be glad to explain to me. Michael Creel says, must not have any instructions on what to report this morning from the media masters. Michael, I'll be honest with you. I've been doing this for 40 years. I've never had a call from a media master. I've never had anybody reach out to me and say, here's your script. This is specifically what you're supposed to say today, and these are the things you're supposed to say. And while I don't doubt that there are certainly some agendas out there for some organizations, and that there are probably some journalists that may have an agenda, I would argue that there are probably many, many more that don't have an agenda and that certainly aren't repeating what somebody else has told them to say, despite the fact that a lot of people would want you to think that. I just, like I say, 40 years and a lot of people that I've known, I don't know too many that would tell you that they've been told, or that they have someone dictate to them what it is they're supposed to say. The news, to me, the news is the news, But again, I appreciate your point of view. Mary Wofford is back with us, as I said, this morning. And again, I just want to spend a few minutes with you this morning. I think I've done that. I have obligations. I know you have obligations. I'm going to go outside and finish putting tablecloths on those tables that are outside so that we'll be ready when we're ready for Thanksgiving. A curious thing to ask you, is there one particular thing on your table this Thanksgiving that you say it would not be Thanksgiving if we didn't have fill in the blank? Now, it can't be turkey and dressing because that's just kind of a given. But what's that one other thing that you say it's not Thanksgiving unless this is on the table? Through the years, whether it was my mom making Thanksgiving and my family going to her house, or now as we've gotten older, the kids and grandkids come to our house, anytime my mom or my wife or anyone else would introduce something new, they'd go, okay, this year we're going to try something. Everybody go, we want the old stand. We want the standbys. We want the standards. We got to have, and in my house, I'll tell you what it is. You're going to have green beans. We've had casseroles in the past, but now we do the green bean bundles. You've had those, the bacon wrapped green. They got to be on there. We will have sweet potatoes of some kind, usually a sweet potato casserole, not sometimes, always. We will have a squash casserole that will also be on the table. I can pretty much tell you that. And in my case, and I know people are going to really think this is weird, but I guess it's just growing up in rural Northeast Texas, I have to have cranberry sauce. I know you're thinking, oh, yeah, that good. No. I'm the guy who wants, if it doesn't have ribs in it, when it's, take it. I like canned cranberry sauce. What can I say? It's the only time of the year that I would ever eat it is on Thanksgiving, but I love having that to go along. It's kind of like, when you think about it, it's almost like jam or jelly. But yeah, I do. I enjoy that. A lot of people turn their nose up. I think I'm the only one now in my entire family that really likes it, but my wife is kind enough to put it on the table anyway, or to have it out. But then after all of that, okay, after saying this is the one thing that we have to have, or it is not. Because I was talking with some folks yesterday at work, and they were talking about, we were talking about dressing. What is dressing? In my house, it's cornbread dressing. And is it giblet or giblet? Depends on who you ask. And I think from what I understand, they're both correct. But we would always have, my grandmother always made giblet. That was just, as part of it. You were using all of the animal, right? And but that would be on the table. But I also know people that do stuffing instead of dressing. And I also know people that do, at my house, we will have what they call rice dressing. I never had it until I moved to Southeast Texas. First time my wife said, we're having rice, dressing, I was like, what is that? But now, yeah, I'll eat my share. There's no doubt about that. I will eat my share. Okay, so now that you've got that one thing that you can't go without, green bean casserole apparently is very popular. Let me show you some of the answers that we're seeing this morning. Natasha Glass says green bean casserole. Mary Wofford says ham is one of those things that she's got to have. Lola Gatlin, macaroni and cheese and pecan pie. I was just about to get to desserts. Tammy says cornbread casserole. While Shirley James says it's not Thanksgiving without baked macaroni and cheese. You know, that has never been a staple at my house, but it sounds really good. I think I could go for that for sure. Coffee says cornbread dressing. Barbara Ann says cranberry sauce and mustard greens. Mary Wofford says she likes cranberry sauce as well. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Dana Melanson told me he was the same way, that he liked his too. Glenda's back with the green bean casserole. Tommy says he likes his canned cranberry sauce as well. All right, so, okay, now we've got the mains and the sides that have to be on the table. What's the one dessert that it's not Thanksgiving unless you have it? I bet I know that. Don't you think the number one answer, if you were to ask somebody, it would be pumpkin pie? That Thanksgiving, to me, at my house, means pumpkin pie. Now, growing up, we would also have sweet potato pie, and my grandmother would make what was called a chess pie. I was always like, well, what's a chess? What goes into a chess pie? But that was the one thing that would always be on the table. But more importantly, that it would always be, there would be pumpkin pie, sweet potato pie. And you think about it, desserts, I mean, Thanksgiving is a dessert-dominated holiday, isn't it? To me, even more than Christmas. That, you know, at the end of the meal, you're going to have a dessert. I've already heard here at my house, it's crazy. I mean, we've got chocolate pie, pecan pie, pumpkin pie, you know, and everybody brings something, and pretty soon you've got more desserts than anybody can eat the whole time. So let's see what some desserts are that folks are coming in and commenting on this morning. Vernell says sweet potato pie. Shirley's going to go with pecan pie. Sandra says sweet potato pie and cornbread dressing. Oh, Glenda, this is a good one. Buttermilk pie. You know, that is a good one. Here's another good one, Jeannie Foster. Banana pudding. Coffee Landry says strawberry cheesecake. Mary Wofford, pecan pie, 250 calories a slice. If you're going to talk to me, Mary, about calories on Thanksgiving, you and I aren't going to talk very long, because that's one thing that, you know, it's like, okay, this is my day. I'm having what I'm thankful that I can have it, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'll worry about the calories later. Jennifer says apple pie. There you go. And Tammy says they're having blueberry cheesecake. So lots of options out there. Either way, I hope you spend the day with folks that you are thankful for. And if you're not, do yourself a favor, do your friends a favor. Reach out, real simple. Listen, this is one of the great devices. It can also be one of the most divisive devices. You know, if you know people that spend too much time on it, you know, all they do is social media, their life becomes virtual, really. But if you have the opportunity to use it wisely, it's a great tool. Reach out to somebody today. Tell them how thankful you are that they're in your life. Tell them that you appreciate them for what they are, what they've been, what they've meant to you. It only takes a couple of seconds. And can you imagine how impactful, how surprising that would be to some people, that out of the blue, here comes this, you know, text message, and they're like, what was that? You can startle people. You really can. But just a smidgen of kindness. And again, it doesn't cost you anything except a little bit of your time. And let me also encourage you to reach out. You do not have to have people over to your house if you're uncomfortable with the idea. If you're having a Zoom Thanksgiving, I get it. You know, if you're concerned for the welfare of other people, got you. But let me also offer this up. While you're making up your meals today and plates, think about that one person who is in the midst of one of the hardest periods of their life. They're despondent because they are lonely. And we are in a very lonely time. There are a lot of people who are isolated. A lot of people who are sitting at home alone today, and they're quite honestly miserable. Miserable for a lot of reasons. Miserable but because maybe they're missing a significant other for the first time. Maybe it's the fact that family is too far away, or they're too concerned about them being together. But the isolation can kill. Loneliness kills. It's just that simple. So why not, while you're putting all that stuff together today, while you're fixing a plate for yourself, think about somebody. Maybe it's the next door neighbor. Maybe it's the widow at church. Maybe it's somebody that they are not having a Thanksgiving with their family, that you just build a plate for them. Just a little taste of everything, wrap some tin foil over it, make a phone call, send a text. I'm dropping this at your front door. You don't have to come out. You don't, this is just an act of kindness. You don't even have to say act of kindness, just something I wanted to do for you. You message your friend, take a plate over there, drop it on the front. A little less leftovers for you, but boy, what a great gift for somebody to know. Not that they're just going to get a taste on Thanksgiving, but there's somebody out there that's thinking about them. That we take a moment and quit thinking about ourselves and we think about somebody else. It's an easy thing to do. So try it today. And I'll expect you to let me know how it goes. If it works. Send a text. Again, reach out to somebody today and let them know what you are thankful for. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for the time that we get to spend together. I'm thankful that I get to read your comments. I would ask you to do me a favor, if you don't mind, if you give me a like or a thumbs up. It was always appreciated. And remind you too, there are lots of ways you can keep up with what's going on. You can keep up here on Facebook. Go to kfdm.com. We had our morning show. Again, I am thankful for my friends and coworkers who allowed me to be home with my family today. Knowing that they're giving up, sacrificing so they can be at work with you this morning. I appreciate what they've done. Also, of course, they will be there at noon, back again this evening with the evening news, and tomorrow morning as well. You can follow me on Twitter, Morning TV Dan. Also, we have a YouTube channel, Dan's at Home. You can subscribe. We post all of our updates there as well. So I hope that you will go out and make it a day of thanks, that you will spend some time with family and friends, whether it's together or virtually, and that you will come right back here tomorrow morning. I promise I'll be here. I'm not working tomorrow. I got another day off, but I'll be here. I'll get up. We'll spend a few minutes together, and then we can go about our merry way. All right. So again, thanks to you. Go out and make it a terrific day. Stay safe, and we'll talk again soon.